Welcome back, everybody. Holiday Doc here with good friend Hastr0 from Envy. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Doc. How you doing, man?
Great. I am super excited for Columbus. Like you can't even imagine to finally be able to meet all the people I've been following in the competitive scene for so long now, putting faces to the names, and obviously continuing my career is going to be just amazing and fantastic. It's really hard to even find the words for it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to have you now commentating in Columbus, and hopefully, we're gonna have some really good games out there for you guys to watch and commentate on, and I think it's gonna be a little bit more entertaining this time around.
I agree. I think the formula has changed up a little bit from what we're going to be watching on Friday. Instead of, watching some of the teams that are just trickling in for the fun, we're going to see some voted for teams up on the main stage, as well as some top notch competitive action between top teams. So, questions for you. There's just so many to even get started, but right now you are the face of Call of Duty competitive gameplay and teams. Like, you're the most recognizable guy out there. What is that even like?
Oh man, I don't know. There's a lot of pressure, I guess, but at the same time, um, I'm just one of the older guys, so I think a lot of people kind of look up to me in that regard as I've stuck around and stuck with it, even though throughout the years it's been really tough, financially, and it's just really time consuming. And yeah, I guess the story is what people kind of cling on to,
Mm-hmm.
just where I came from. And I had a pretty good college degree and I had a really good job out of college, but I decided to take this path. I think people kind of just look at that and they're blown away that I wanted to kind of go the pro gaming route, but I never had the intentions, man. I really never had the intentions of being a pro gamer. I just kind of enjoyed playing. I always played for the fun of the game and, my enjoyment competing. I'm really competitive. I've played a lot of sports in my life, and, this is just a way for me to have a good time. But honestly, man, I mean, I think I've heard there's like a documentary coming out in the fighting game community soon, and Gutex he's a machinima director and partner, and he's a pro fighting game player. And I heard him quote a quote he said, it's not always about winning. Basically, is what he's trying to get across. He's saying it, for him, at the end of the day, it's all about making competitive gaming grow and leaving it bigger than what you found it at. So that's really my philosophy as well. I can't agree with him more. I just want to make our community grow and make it better, make it more entertaining, get more people involved, and let people enjoy what I've always enjoyed doing. So, yeah, that's kind of my mindset, and I love the attention. I love being able to reach out to the community and kind of represent what our community is about.
I can't even begin to say how close our stories even are, because right when I got started on YouTube, it was the Call of Duty World at War days, and I'll admit it, as shameful as I may be, I was a hardcore TDM star for a bit.
Oh
But
no.
yeah, yeah, I know, sorry, but I definitely changed my ways. Made the transition once I seen how much more this game can offer, Call of Duty in general. When you start playing everything and you make it competitive, and you start going after the achievements, and it makes playing the game so much more enjoyable when there's obviously an objective, and when there's something on the line. And I think that's why we're going to see a big increase in the competitors that are going to show up at these events. And I've been preaching to people, get involved. It takes a couple minutes to go sign up on game battles, feel it out, try it out. And especially if you've gotten to that point in public rooms where you simply don't lose anymore, it's definitely time to make the transition. um what what can you give advice for new teams out there? And I guess the striving, aspiring player that wants to make it pro.
Well, you're not ever going to become a pro player unless you actually get some experience playing against pro teams or better players out there. So, first thing you have to do is really enter yourself into competitions where there are better players than you. And that's the main thing that you can do to get better. Playing against better competition and players who are better than you, teams who are better than you, is going to make you a better player. and that's where I got started. And I made sure that I got into games with players who were superior to me, way back in Call of Duty 2 and Call of Duty 3, and that's what really propelled me into the pro ranks. But really just look for tournaments. You don't always have to enter the big tournaments either. There are tons of free tournaments that you can enter. You have 360 icons, you have the game battles tournaments, the game battles like qualifying ladders. Get involved in those, and more importantly, go to the events. If you live near an MLG event, there's no reason, if you're a competitive player, that you shouldn't show up and play. Grab friends. It doesn't matter how bad you get beat. That tournament experience is absolutely priceless. So, spend the money on the team pass, get a team together, even if it's just some friends that are local with you that like to play the game. Definitely show up, go to the events. I mean, that experience goes a long way. You have players who are great online that I've seen who show up to the events and they do poorly because they don't have that tournament experience.
Yeah.
So
and they start to choke under pressure.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure there at the event, so you have to kind of work that out. My first, big event was, the national championship in Vegas in '08, and I ended up placing fourth there. But I could have played a lot better if I would have had my wits, and that tournament LAN experience. But eventually I gained that and started to place a little bit better the next couple of years, and that's really, the main thing is just kind of get that tournament experience under your belt, that competition experience, and be confident when you have to face up against the tougher teams.
I couldn't agree more. But another huge question from the viewers and a lot of people in my community that they wanted me to ask is, what made you come back to the ranks of playing? Obviously you did a fantastic jobs, and filling your shoes as a commentator is going to be very difficult. But what made you step back into playing?
Well, I felt like I had worked really hard and lobbied, and bugged people at MLG. I started going to MLG events before Call of Duty 4 was even out to kind of make a presence, felt by them, or my presence felt, and the Call of Duty community's presence felt, and talk to them about the game and, what kind of community we had going on. So, for me, I never got to play a full season on the pro circuit. I always just had to play the national championships, live, and I love that experience. So I just wanted to make sure that, I was there to support the community when we're there at live events for a full circuit. And, so this is the season that I get that opportunity. So, that's where I wanted to come back. There were also some sponsorship opportunities that arose that could help me a little bit financially to make this thing happen. So that was another factor in that decision. Plus, I wanted to be there for my teammates to make sure that we grew Envious as a franchise, and made sure that down the road we're going to be stable to keep this thing going.
Did the question of coaching ever come into mind?
Well, yeah, it did. It did, but I also, felt like I still had a little bit left in the tank. I got, it is really tough at my age. I'm getting older. I'm getting into my late 20s now.
Listen here, getting old. You're making us sound like grandpas here.
No, well, I mean, honestly, man, maybe I don't know if any of the other older pro players in pro gaming would vouch for it, but I kind of feel it going now. My hands are getting a little more stiff. It sounds crazy, but my reflexes are kind of dying out a little bit. I can feel it, and I'll be the first person to admit it. The younger guys definitely have a leg up on me in terms of how fast they can react in the game, and it's one of those things where I still feel like I'm able to compete at the highest level, and I feel confident going in, and feel confident that my team is going to be in the running to win this national championship this year. But at the same time, I know that I don't have much time left, so that was really the point to where I just kind of wanted to make sure that I came in and supported as long as I could, and didn't want to really retire early.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what else Envy is going to bring to the circuit. You guys have always been a top-notch team, on and off the field, if you want to use that word. Envy has just built themselves up. You've built the team up to being that AAA class competitor. Between your respectfulness for other players and teams to how you handle yourself as a businessman, and I said it before, like, you're the most marketable man when it comes to a Call of Duty player, and you've only done nothing but work for yourself. I'm really looking forward to meeting everybody and meeting all of Team Envious at Columbus. Do you want to finish off with anything?
Well, look, we have about 20 seconds left in this gameplay, but I want you to add something to the end of this video, Doc. All right, so we can extend this conversation a little
Sure.
bit, if you don't
Okay.
mind.
Yeah, I will.
But I wanted to ask you, man, about your commentating skills and how excited you are to become an official MLG commentator. I mean, what do you think you're gonna have in store for the fans out there?
Well, kind of one thing that I've set forth already is that I'm not here to fill Fwiz or yourself's shoes in the booth. That kind of wasn't my objective. My whole take on it is I want to bring what I already do on my own channel and extend that to the viewers out there. And what I do on my own channel is just I try to really bridge the gap between the lingo, the playing from pro players to the average player and kind of blend it all in and create a more adaptive viewing experience for everybody just to get involved. And I think my knowledge as a competitive gamer, obviously not a top tier competitive player, but I've been playing, competitively since the beginning of SOCOM battles. I've been around for a long time, going on almost 10 years now as a lover of the competitive gaming field. So I guess, showing up at Columbus, it's going to be a little nerve wracking, you know, obviously first time behind the big screen, and I really just want to knock people's socks off as far as my knowledge base goes, and hopefully keep the job for Anaheim.
Yeah, man, I think you're going to be just fine, and I have a good feeling that you're going to be on the pro circuit for the entire season commentating our games, man. But I think I'm going to post this video to my channel as well, this commentary, and so for all of my subscribers who are listening, make sure you go check out Holiday Doc's channel. Go subscribe to him; he's a good dude, and I'm sure we're probably talking over a graphic right now that has both of our channels up.
Yeah,
So
I'll do
that's
that.
what we should do. We'll just make a little graphic that'll be here on the screen. It's probably going to be up right now. But go check out his channel. You'll see the link there on the graphic, and definitely go check out Holiday Doc. He's a man.
Thank you, man. I do appreciate it. I know you're a busy guy, so we'll end off with this. I'm Holiday Doc, and this
I'm
is
Hastr0.
Hastro, and we're out of
Sweet.
here.